Good morning. So, I gave that another coat of paint yesterday, that stuff. That is now as black as rat, that thing. So, today I'm going to paint that with smooth right. Just going to go over these bits with these dodgy bits here with some red oxide. That bit there I'm going to do again red oxide over the top of that, and then white paint. I used to get underspray of all that when I did that. The scuttle panel's turned up, but there's no point fitting that yet because it's just going to do that again. So there's no point. I'm still trying to track down some bonnet hinges. I've messaged loads of people, no one's got back to me. All in there has come out okay. That looks alright in there. So probably leave that another couple of hours. It feels like it's dry. See if I can paint over that with some white paint, see how that works out. I'll probably give it a quick squirt over with some primer. I've got some white primer spray. Intercooler's going to turn up today, but I haven't got any hose clamps for it, so I've had to order some of those. They'll turn up tomorrow, but I can get the actual cooler in. There's a bracket that's got to go on top of that. I can mount that in and then just fit the hose clamps tomorrow, so that's no problem. What else? Yeah, and all in here has all gone nice and black now, which is great. So it does say 72 hours. So I will give it another day. I think tomorrow should be okay. I might be able to rub these down today. Just give that a wipe over with a brush, wire brush, and just spray some of these up. I'm just going to spray them black, just to make it look a little bit tidier. That's come out okay. That's where I faffed around with that underseal yesterday. But that's come out alright. Bit of welding. I need to get a bit of underseal on that today or tomorrow. And the other thing, I don't know what, I'm just going to do a day of faffing really. Haven't really got any actual plan of attack because I'm waiting for parts. But I would like to get maybe that all painted black, just with just as I say, just with a spray can really, just to give it a bit of a look more than anything, just make it look tidier. Anyway, don't really know what I'm doing. No plan of attack, just making the most of the decent weather, so doing a bit of painting. Let's see how we get on with that. Alrighty, so quick update today. That's been coated with red oxide. That's been coated with red oxide. I've also quickly painted the back of the wheels, the front wheels, while they were off because they were all manky, and I've literally just done those with some silver smooth right, but they look a lot better than they did. I've cleaned all this off in there, ready to just spray that with some black spray. I've got some black direct to metal spray. Again, it doesn't do anything other than just tidies it up really, so I've got to just paint those. The new intercooler's turned up, so that's cool. That's that there, brand new one. And the scuttle panel trim has also turned up because the other one is damaged on the edge there. So there's no point obviously putting it on because this is just going to do that. Still trying to chase down some hinges. Contacted another couple of people, companies, and still waiting for that information for that. I've also repaired the top of this there, so that is now repaired. Someone had a go at me for gluing this or mentioning glue, so I'm not going to mention glue. I've repaired it. Anyway, so that's that. So bit of paint work. Gonna paint that white. Gonna paint that white. And then I'm gonna paint that both sides black. And then there's no point starting on this now because it's just going to be too late in the day to start all that malarkey. But that'll be a job for tomorrow. I can put on the red oxide on that first thing, hit it with a heat gun. That'll go off in a couple of hours. That'll go off in an hour or so. Anyway, so today's just been like, I don't know what you would call it really, just a bit of sprucing up here and there. Right, let's get on with this paintbrush. Okay, so they have all been painted black in there. I used some Rust-Oleum primer and then Rust-Oleum top coat. Why do I use Rust-Oleum? Because it's cheap in B&M and it's only down the road. That's why I use that, but it does seem to work alright. That's what I did the wheels with on that the other van, and despite my first thoughts on it, they actually came out okay. Anyway, this is nothing other than just aesthetics, just that when you look through the wheel it doesn't look rusty. Other than that, that's it. I've painted the battery tray. Now I could have actually unbolted that. There's 2 bolts there and I think there's 1 at the back, maybe 2 at the back. However, we all know what would have happened if I tried to undo those 2. They would have snapped probably. The ones at the back would have been okay, but those 2 probably would have snapped. And then trying to get a drill in there to drill out the studs, could have heated it up potentially, but it wasn't difficult to paint it in situ, so I've painted that in situ. That bit there is where the earth strap goes. Painted all around that. Yes, I know I've got to sand that bit down so it's nice and shiny again, but I need to do that when the paint's gone off. So that's got to be bolted back on. There's the bolt right there. That's got to be painted back. Sorry, that's got to be sanded back. Done with that. And then before I put the radiator in tomorrow, I'm just going to pull those out because the wax oil can has turned up today. So as someone recommended, I put that in a bucket of water, give that a good old warm up and a shake, and spray that inside that bracket. And also I'll stick some wax oil down anything that I can find hole to squirt down basically. And then tomorrow I can get on and do that what do you call it, what's the word I'm looking for, red oxide, that's the word I'm looking for. Red oxide all in there along the bottom there, let that go off, and then I can paint over the top of that with that bitumen slash whatever this stuff is, hammerite thing, that stuff, underbody seal, which is what I've been using for many years on certain things, including the car that's under there. And I get all that painted up, so that'll all be done. And I may, depending on how I get on, I might try and paint these red, because I've got some red paint for these calipers which I bought for the other van, which I probably won't use now because that's up for sale. And then that'll get all that done then. So what day is it tomorrow? Thursday. So I'll get all that done on Thursday, if the weather's okay, which at the moment it's looking like it's going to be alright. Get all that done tomorrow. The fan should turn up tomorrow. The cooling fan for the the other cooling fan for the radiator should turn up tomorrow. The intercooler's turned up today, and the hose clamps for those will turn up tomorrow. I've got some hose clamps probably, but I wanted to get quite sturdy ones because I don't want to be doing this job twice. And the ones I've got are probably just flimsy ones. So got some decent hose clamps turning up tomorrow, Jubilee clips. Then intercooler in, radiator in, and then get that earth strap back on, get the battery back in, then I can run it up and make sure it runs up to temperature and the fan's kicking and stuff before I start putting all the front panel and everything on, because none of that else needs to be in. And I can put the front panel on with the radiator in situ. That's how it come apart. So that's probably how I put it back together. It's pretty simple. In fact, it'll probably be easier like that, and I'm trying to fiddle, slide the radiator in between the front panel and the engine, just bolt the front panel up to the right, just bolt it in that way. Yeah, so not a lot done today, but a lot done. And there's been other things going on today as well. I took a delivery of something, again, something that you'll see in a future video. And a friend of mine turned up to collect some wine that we bought for him at the weekend on our trip to France. Anyway, so again, time's ticked on. It's nearly 4 o'clock. I've got to tidy up, not quite so much rubbish to tidy up today, and then crack on tomorrow. Au revoir. Good morning. So I've done a couple of bits already this morning. Got the battery in, got the battery tray, clamps on, done the earth, obviously cleaned up where the paint was on the stud that go with the fixing that goes into that chassis leg. Cleaned all that off. Also cleaned up these two actual earth points and the bolt. Did that. The other thing I've done this morning is gone over just with some white spirit and taken off bits of overspray that were on this van. Now obviously I haven't done any painting on this yet. The only bits I've done is sprayed a little bit of stone chip in here and on the other side, so I wouldn't have got, and then I masked sort of this up with cloth and stuff, so I wouldn't have got stone, I wouldn't have got overspray there or there or there or there or on here or on here or on there, or up here, to be fair. But there is, you can, I don't know if the camera picks it out, but there's overspray everywhere on this. And I know the bonnet's been painted, obviously, because there's overspray all on this. So I don't know if the bonnet I'm getting's got a bit of that, so I'll have to clean that up. But anyway, just as a point of fact, really, this camper van came from a reputable dealer. Now obviously dealers do bits, don't they? They titivate and make things fancy. But what they did in there was obviously just, well, I don't know if it's the dealer. Let's not say it's the dealer. Someone painted over that with just some shorts, and then it all just flaked off and went rusty. And then obviously someone has painted, we'll say the front of the van, at least we know at least the bonnet and probably that front wing. I don't know about this one, I can't remember, but at least the bonnet's been painted. But they didn't even bother masking up all this engine bay. They could have put a sheet over that, even if they didn't take the bonnet off. You know, they clearly didn't mask that up. So it just goes to show that even if you buy a vehicle from a dealer, a reputable dealer, somewhere along the line, that vehicle is going to have had bodywork, paintwork, or anything on it. So I know you do pay a premium from a dealer, but that's because a lot of the time they do, you know, they do work like painting bonnets and all that type of stuff, and undercoating and undersealing and all that sort of stuff. Whether they do it particularly high standard is a different matter. Now we're not saying the dealer did this, but someone did this, and they did a particularly good. The paint finish is okay, but the prep work, you know, to stop all that up, I mean, that just looks awful. That absolutely looks awful. So whoever painted this, why didn't you either take that off or mask it up even? But anyway, bugbear. Why can't you just mask stuff up? And because it just looks awful. It just looks like, everyone now knows that this vehicle's been smashed up. So if you were to look at this vehicle under the bonnet, you go, oh, it's definitely been smashed up because it's got overspray everywhere. Yeah, but the overspray is not from the repair work that I've done. The overspray is from previous work that was done to the vehicle. You know, and it is, I know why it was painted. It's because the paint on these vans is quite thin. You know, it is ultimately a builder's van, really. You know, it flakes off. It's not very good. Everyone knows it's a well-known thing. So that's why it's been painted. I get that. But if you're going to paint it, just mask it up, for God's sake. Anyway, alright. Pet hate. But there you go, making work for other people. Talking about making work for other people, use this when you put bolts in, copper slip, copper grease, whatever you want to call it. Use that. So I've just put that on these bolts here. I've used it when I've put the bolts in through the bottom of this cross member there. I shall use it on anything else that I put when I bolt things like this back in. I'll put it on there. It just makes things easier for you in the future if you're going to do a bit of maintenance on your vehicle, or even the next person that buys the vehicle, or the garage that does it, because they'll say, oh, I spent an hour trying to get a bolt out. Well, that's, I don't know, 60, 70 quid, 80 quid probably, £200 if you've got a really flash car. So just make sure that if you're putting things back, put a bit of grease on it. Copper slip's the best thing, copper grease is the best thing. I've been using that for literally donkey's years. When I was an apprentice on HGVs back in the day when I was on a YTS scheme, 1986, Jesus Christ. So do things like that to help yourself. So if you're painting something, mask it up as best you can, or at all. And if you're putting nuts and bolts in, especially if they're going to be somewhere where it's prone to getting wet, or they're not going to be coming out for bloody donkey's years, but they still will need to come out, shock absorber things, etc., things like that, suspension components. Put some copper slip on there, make your job or someone else's job easier. Right, anyway, so now I'm going to get the red oxide on that, and then also squirt some some wax oil, which I've got currently standing in a jug of hot water. And I'm going to squirt that in there, just inside there, all inside here. And there is also some panels that you can pop off, so I'll pop those off, and I'll just squirt wax oil in all those places, just to, again, give it a fighting chance. So you can see I've just fired that into there. This is what I'm using. It's just the cheapest one I can find, but it's wax oil, it'll do the same thing. So I fired that in there, and then it's squirted it up this way and down that way, obviously, and I fired it in that hole at the front there as well, in there. So I'm going to do that obviously on both sides, and then obviously, like I've just said, I've just taken those mountings out for the radiator and the intercooler and squirted it all in there. So again, it's not going to stop it going rusty. Well, I don't know, say it's not going to stop it going rusty. It should stop it going rusty, but it's just going to be the best. It's just going to give the best protection as we can. Right, let's get on squirting more stuff. The Jubilee clip's turned up for that as well, so I've got that in. So that's now on. So that will bolt to the front panel. There's a bracket that goes in there that also bolts to the front panel, so that will hold that up. That's all back. The hose clips that I've got for the radiator, they're not turning up till tomorrow, unfortunately, so I can't get the rad in anyway, because I've got to wait for the cooling fan to turn up. Hopefully that's turning up today. So, but I'm going out this afternoon, so I might get some more of this done tomorrow. So by tomorrow I may have the radiator in which case I can put some antifreeze in it and then run it up to temperature. But, and then on Saturday we're going to Swindon, like I said, to get all the rest of it. So, but by tomorrow it might actually start taking shape a little bit more. Alright, so red oxide done both sides. I've also sprayed up in here. There's a little bit of plastic on this one. The other one's just got nothing on it, just no bung, so I'll probably put a bit of tape over it and then just underseal over it, because that appears to be what that one is. There's a bung. I don't know if you can see. I see it, I don't know. Yeah, there's a hole here somewhere. There it is. Hole there. So I sprayed underseal all in there as well. I've just taken those covers off to do this. That's the welding I did the other day. So all done, all up under there, if you can see, all on the inside. Obviously that's all going to be painted with underseal and then white paint as well, so, or maybe just underseal, I don't know, but anyway, to tidy it all up. And now underseal all of these inner wheel arches. Just before I finish this bit of video, that, by the way, makes it look really rusty, but it's not. It's actually clear, clean white paint in there. That what makes it look really rusty is actually the wax oil off of this. So just in case anyone says, oh, that's rotten as a pear in there, it's not. That was clean white shiny paint, and it's the wax oil that makes it look awful. You can probably see the clean paint up there. Just in case anyone decides to say that this is absolutely rotten, it's not. It's wax oil to stop it going wrong. Okay, so there we have it. Both sides have been coated in that underbody sealer. We've added wax oil, so I don't need to go right up to here because there's a wheel arch shield there, and they don't go rusty up there, to be fair, very rarely anyway. But anyway, that's all there. It does look a lot neater, and this isn't, as I said, on the other side when I did the other wheel arch. Again, I don't know if you can see it there, but you can actually still see the white paint through in places. Obviously there you can't because it was black anyway, but maybe up there you might be able to see it, don't know. But this is like really thick paint, effectively like a wax, I don't know, an oily thing, bitumen type substance I guess you'd call it. I mean, back in the day you used to spray underneath the vehicles with old engine oil, so this is just like this bit like that, but it does eventually dry to like a hard skin, and then you can paint over the top of it, but it does take quite a while. Well, I've got time because I've still got to sort all the front out yet, so until I actually get the front wings and everything I'm getting on Saturday painted, you know, this is going to have time to dry out. It just looks so much better being one colour, but I will paint that. I'll paint all of this bit white, and then obviously all under here where I've painted the red oxide. Again, I don't know if you can see that. Not sure how light that is, but I'll go over all that with white paint over there just to seal it in, and I'm using hammerite, so that's obviously got some decent qualities to it. It's just trying to make as neat a job as possible. It's not a show vehicle obviously, but I just want to make it as neat as possible and as tidy as possible, so the maintenance on the body is minimal, and then the rest of it is just maintenance on the mechanical parts of it. It's going to want to set brake pads, not too long, but other than that I haven't really found anything else. I've got some oil for it already, got an oil filter coming. Obviously the coolant will be changed. I've already had a look at the cam belt and water pump. That appears to be good, so I've got to worry about that for a couple of years, I don't think. The rest of it's pretty much all there. So I still haven't checked the air filter, got to check that, and the fuel filter, but I don't know where the fuel filter is, to be fair. Not found that yet. Oh, is it? No, that's the one. No. Don't know, got to find the fuel filter, I've not seen that yet. But we're getting there, slowly, surely, but we are getting there. Right, anyway, that's enough for now. Got to go and get myself cleaned up because we're going out. Look, am I covered in stuff? I don't know, I expected to be covered in. Oh, okay, filthy. I was expecting to be covered in underseal. Anyway, that's enough for today. Au revoir.